Focus on yourself until you win. Part 1. The Call to Self-Reliance. The Decision. Chapter 1. The Undeniable Truth. Nobody is coming to save you. There is a simple, unyielding truth that serves as the foundation for all lasting success. Yet it is the truth most willingly ignored, most bitterly resented, and most frequently avoided. Nobody is coming to save you. This is not a statement of despair. It is the ultimate declaration of liberation. Your salvation is not an event waiting to happen to you. It is a force waiting to be unleashed by you. The moment you internalize this reality, that there is no lottery win, no perfect mentor, no sudden breakthrough, no external hero who will descend from the clouds to fix your finances, mend your relationships, or build your dream life, is the moment your true power awakens. Your life will only fundamentally change the day you decide to put all your energy where it belongs, on you. We are conditioned by culture, by fairy tales, and by a pervasive sense of learned helplessness to wait for the rescue. We wait for the economy to improve, for our boss to finally notice us, for our partner to change, or for a piece of technology to magically make our work obsolete. This state of waiting is a voluntary surrender of power. It turns you into a passenger in your own life, perpetually peering out the window, hoping the scenery will change. The focus on you principle is the unilateral declaration of responsibility. It is the moment you stand up and realize you are the author, the director, the lead actor, and the entire production crew of your life's epic. No one will care as much about your vision as you do. No one will work as hard to see it realized as you must. And no one, absolutely no one, is better equipped to define your success than the person looking back at you in the mirror. Every dream you harbor, every goal you yearn to reach, every future you long to live, it all depends on one single critical factor: how much you are willing to focus on yourself without distractions, without excuses, and without waiting for permission. You must cease the external search. Stop looking outward for the solution, the validation, or the security. That search is a bottomless pit. Instead, turn your gaze inward and start building the life you deserve from the inside out. Chapter 2. The Inner Locus of Control. Owning 100% of your outcome. The transition from waiting to winning begins with understanding and implementing the concept of the locus of control. This psychological principle dictates where you believe the primary control over your life's events resides. Do you have an external locus of control? If so, you believe that forces outside of yourself, fate, luck, other powerful people, the political climate, the economy, are responsible for what happens to you. When success comes, you chalk it up to a lucky break. When failure hits, you blame the system, the teacher, or the market. A person with an external locus of control is perpetually a victim, dependent on circumstances to change before they can thrive. They wait for the conditions to be perfect. They say, "I'll start when." Do you have an internal locus of control? If so, you believe that your results are primarily a function of your own actions, efforts, and decisions. When you succeed, you credit your preparation and persistence. When you fail, you analyze your strategy and take ownership of the mistake. This is the mindset of the master builder. The master builder knows that while external winds may blow, he controls the angle of his own sails. He does not wait for the storm to pass. He learns to navigate in the rain. The focus on you until you win philosophy is the total, unwavering adoption of an internal locus of control. It is the decision to own 100% of your outcome. This does not mean that bad things won't happen. It does not mean you are immune to recession, betrayal, or illness. It means that while you cannot control the events of your life, you can absolutely and always control your response to those events. Your response is your ultimate non-negotiable power, the 3 pillars of unstoppable self-focus. The transition to an internal locus of control is solidified by eliminating the 3 great power drains: distractions, excuses, and waiting for permission. Pillar 1. Without distractions, the war on noise. Distractions are not just notifications on your phone. They are anything that pulls your energy away from your primary objective. This includes other people's drama, constant consumption of shallow entertainment, and the endless pursuit of external validation. Focus demands simplification. Your mind has a finite amount of energy each day. Every time you check a non-essential email, scroll a feed, or engage in a pointless argument, you are cashing in a chip from your limited mental bank account. To win, you must become a miser with your attention. The test of relevance. Before engaging with anything, ask, does this action move me closer to my stated goal? If the answer is no, it is a distraction, and it must be deferred, delegated, or deleted. Pillar 2. Without excuses. The end of blame. Excuses are the convenient, comfortable stories we tell ourselves to justify our lack of action. They are the psychological defense mechanisms that shield our ego from the uncomfortable truth that we have not done the necessary work. The language of excuses is insidious. I'm too tired. I don't have enough money. The timing isn't right. I was born into the wrong family. The focus on you mindset demolishes this language. It replaces the passive declaration, I can't, with the active question, how can I? Own the setback. When failure occurs, don't waste energy on why it wasn't your fault. Instead, dedicate that energy to asking, what did this failure teach me? What specific action will I take now to correct the course? This instant pivot from blame to learning is the hallmark of the self-mastered individual. Pillar 3. Without waiting for permission. The authority of action. Too many brilliant minds sit paralyzed, waiting for a sign, a mentor's approval, a certificate, or a formal invitation to begin their dream. They believe they are not ready, not worthy, or that the world requires them to have external validation before they can start. This is a lie. The moment you decide to act is the moment you grant yourself all the permission you need. The winners in this life are not the ones who waited for the red carpet to be rolled out. They are the ones who started building the road themselves. They launched the imperfect product. They wrote the messy first draft. They started the awkward first workout. The authority to begin is not given. It is taken. Chapter 3. The power of the single point. Defining your unwavering goal. To focus on yourself until you win, you must first define what the win actually is. A lack of clarity is the single greatest killer of motivation and focus. You cannot hit a target you cannot see. The power of the single point is the absolute dedication to one primary, overarching, unwavering goal, UG, that serves as your personal North Star. Most people have a list of goals. They want to be rich, fit, well-read, a better parent, an expert in their field, and learn 3 languages, all by next Tuesday. This is not focus. It is fragmentation. It is the guaranteed path to mediocrity in every area. When you divide your focus, you divide your power. The hierarchy of ambition. Instead of a horizontal list, create a hierarchy of ambition, where your unwavering goal sits at the pinnacle. 1. The unwavering goal, UG. This is the one thing that, if achieved in the next 12 to 24 months, will change the trajectory of your entire life. It must be specific, measurable, and terrifyingly ambitious. Example: instead of be a successful writer, the UG is publish and market my first novel, reaching 10,000 copies sold by the end of next year. Example: instead of grow my business, The UG is scale the consulting firm to $500,000 in recurring annual revenue by securing 5 new enterprise clients. Your UG must be a personal declaration of what winning means to you. It is the only metric that matters right now. 2. The supporting goals, SG. These are the 2 to 3 essential goals that must be achieved to make the UG possible. They are the scaffolding. Using the novel example, SG1, complete the final draft of the manuscript and secure a literary agent. SG2, develop a foundational social media presence and email list of 5,000 engaged readers. 3. The daily non-negotiables, DNN. These are the small daily tasks that directly feed the supporting goals. These are the actions that you must perform every single day, regardless of how you feel, for the entire period. Using the novel example, DNN, write 1,000 words. DNN, spend 30 minutes researching agents. DNN, respond to 10 emails from the writing community. This structure allows you to know at any given moment whether your current activity is a productive use of your energy or a pointless distraction. If your activity does not serve a DNN, which serves an SG, which serves your UG, then you are not focused on winning. The magnetic pull of clarity. When your goal is singular and clear, it acts like a powerful magnet, attracting the necessary resources, people, and opportunities. Clarity creates a filter. When a new opportunity arises, you don't have to deliberate. You simply run it past the UG. Will this new project help me sell 10,000 copies of my novel? If the answer is no, the answer is a swift, unapologetic no. This ability to say no to 1,000 good things so you can say yes to the one great thing is the fundamental difference between the focused master and the scattered amateur. You must build your life so strong that no failure can break you and no rejection can stop you. This inner strength is built only in the pursuit of the singular, unwavering goal. The world rewards those who master themselves, not those who blame, not those who wait. The ones who win are the ones who focus relentlessly on their growth, their vision, their path. Now, the work begins. Part 2. Building the Unbreakable Self, the Foundation. Chapter 4. The Daily War. Focusing fully on building your strongest self. You have to focus fully on building your strongest self every day. You cannot afford to take days off when it comes to self-construction. Life is not slowing down for anyone. Every day that you waste, every moment that you let slip away without working on yourself, it compounds against you. The person who stops working on themselves today is not the same as the person who starts again tomorrow. The person who stops has created a psychological debt, a gap between who they are and who they should be. This gap requires extra energy to close when they finally decide to restart. This is the compounding effect of neglect. The daily war is fought in the small decisions, getting up when the alarm goes off versus hitting snooze, choosing the workout over the couch, prioritizing the difficult, strategic work over the easy, busy work. These small, seemingly insignificant battles determine the outcome of the entire war, the 3 arenas of self-construction. Building your strongest self requires a simultaneous, relentless focus on 3 interconnected arenas. Neglect any one of them, and the entire foundation becomes unstable. Arena 1. The intellectual fortress, the mind. Your mind is your ultimate weapon. If it is weak, confused, or filled with self-doubt, no amount of physical energy or perfect planning will save you. The input quality: be relentlessly critical of what you consume. Your mind is a garden. If you plant weeds, gossip, low-value content, negative news, you will harvest a poor crop. You must be an active student of your field, dedicating time every day to mastering new concepts, reading foundational texts, and seeking out mentors, even if they are only mentors in book form. The inner monologue. The most important conversation you will ever have is the one you have with yourself. If your inner voice is a relentless critic, you will never be great. You must learn to silence the critic and replace its voice with the firm, objective coach. The coach doesn't say, "You failed, you idiot." The coach says, "That didn't work." Analyze why. Adjust the strategy and try again, harder. Arena 2. The physical machine, the body. You cannot build an extraordinary life in a compromised body. Energy management is time management. How well you sleep, what you eat, and how consistently you move dictate your mental stamina, your mood, and your ability to tolerate stress. The stamina contract. Your commitment to your goals is only as strong as your physical stamina to execute them. A tired body produces a tired mind, and a tired mind is a weak mind, susceptible to distraction and prone to excuse-making. Treat your body not as a temporary vessel, but as the essential high-performance engine required to carry your massive ambition. Your body must be built to handle the long, grueling marathon of a successful life. Arena 3. The emotional resilience, the spirit. Emotional resilience is the ability to sustain peak performance through setbacks, betrayals, and crushing disappointment without collapsing into bitterness or withdrawal. This is built not in good times, but in the crucible of challenge, the practice of discomfort. The only way to build resilience is to willingly and systematically embrace discomfort. Take on the projects you fear. Have the difficult conversations you avoid. Step into the arena of public exposure even when you feel unprepared. Every time you push past a psychological boundary, you do not just complete a task, you expand the size of your spirit. You create an emotional capacity that can withstand future shocks. You either build the life you want, or you drift further into the life you settle for. There is no neutral ground in this daily war. The person you are becoming is being constructed moment by moment, brick by brick, by the choices you make right now. Chapter 5. The Science of Habit. Compounding Self-Discipline. The only way to ensure relentless focus is to eliminate the need for conscious, daily decision-making for the most crucial tasks. You must delegate the work of success to a system of automatic, non-negotiable habits. This is the compounding effect of self-discipline. Just as money grows exponentially in an investment account over decades, small positive daily habits compound into massive life-altering results over time. Consider the simple act of writing 500 words a day. It feels insignificant. You can do it in 20 minutes. But 500 words a day is 3,500 words a week, 14,000 words a month, and over 182,500 words a year. That is 2 full-length novels. The result, 2 novels, feels monumental, but the action was never monumental. It was always a tiny, non-negotiable habit. This is the true secret of high achievers. They have engineered their lives so that the successful choice is the path of least resistance. The 4 laws of habit creation. To solidify your focus through discipline, you must make the desired habits obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying. Law 1. Make it obvious, the cue. A habit needs a trigger. If you want to start a new behavior, you must define the time and location where it will happen. Vague intentions like "I will meditate more" fail. Concrete plans win. Implementation intention. Use the formula. When situation X occurs, I will perform response Y. Example: when I finish my first cup of coffee in the morning, I will immediately open my writing app and start on my 500 words. Habit stacking. Anchor a new habit to an existing, established one. Example: After I finish brushing my teeth, existing habit, I will stretch for 5 minutes, new habit. Law 2. Make it attractive, the craving. You must make the process of focusing on your goal desirable. If you dread the task, you will procrastinate. You can make it attractive through temptation bundling. Bundling. Pair an action you need to do with an action you want to do. Example, I will only allow myself to listen to my favorite podcast, want, while I am doing my dreaded administrative paperwork, need. Law 3. Make it easy, the response. Focus requires activation energy. The path of focus must have the least possible friction. You must reduce the resistance to your core actions. The 2-minute rule. When starting a new habit, scale it down to an action that takes less than 2 minutes. The goal is not to achieve a result, but to show up. If your goal is to run a marathon, your 2-minute rule is put on your running shoes. If your goal is to write a book, your 2-minute rule is open the document. Once you start, momentum often takes over. The 2-minute rule is a hack to get you past the initial resistance. Prime the environment. Design your physical space for success. Put your laptop charger by the door if you need to take your work to a coffee shop. Put your vitamins next to your toothbrush. Your environment is the silent architect of your behavior. Law 4. Make it satisfying, the reward. If the outcome is not immediately rewarding, you will stop. The rewards for long-term focus, a completed novel, financial independence, are too far in the future to keep you motivated today. You need an immediate, short-circuiting reward. Visual tracking. Do not break the chain. Use a wall calendar, a digital tracker, or a journal to visually mark off every day you successfully performed your non-negotiable. The satisfaction comes from seeing the streak grow. Immediate payoff. Create a small, healthy reward for completing a difficult, focused block. A 10-minute walk. A perfect cup of tea. Do not let the reward undermine the system. Don't reward a productive writing session with a 5-hour gaming binge. By applying the science of habit, you are no longer relying on the fragile currency of motivation. You are operating on the robust, predictable power of discipline. You are building an inner engine that runs reliably, regardless of whether you feel inspired. You build yourself so strong that no failure can break you, and no rejection can stop you. That strength is not a gift. It is the sum of 1,000 small, disciplined choices. Chapter 6. Eliminating the noise. Mastering the art of distraction-proof focus. If you are serious about winning, you must understand that the modern world is fundamentally designed to steal your focus. Every app, every website, every endless scrolling feed, and every social notification is an engineering masterpiece crafted with one goal: to pull your attention away from the difficult, essential work that actually creates value in your life. The ability to sustain deep, prolonged focus, what is often called deep work, is the highest leverage skill in the 21st century. It is the unfair advantage that separates the prolific winners from the well-intentioned masses. To achieve this, you must go beyond simply putting your phone on silent. You must declare a complete systemic war on noise and distraction, the 3 levels of noise. Distraction comes in more forms than a smartphone alert. You must be able to identify and neutralize noise at every level. Level 1. The external noise, sensory. This is the most obvious: the ringing phone, the pop-up notifications, the loud colleagues, the cluttered desk. The nuclear option: institute an absolute focus protocol for your most important work. This means 90-minute blocks where the phone is in another room, all non-essential tabs are closed, and noise-canceling headphones are on. You are not checking email. You are not responding to texts. You are declaring a temporary, non-negotiable boundary. The world can wait. Clutter. Control. Your physical environment reflects your mental state. A cluttered desk creates a cluttered mind. Spend the last 5 minutes of your workday organizing your space for the next morning. You are setting up your future self for success. Level 2. The social noise. Interpersonal. This is the pressure to be constantly available, the drama of other people's problems, and the need to constantly seek external validation. The boundary firewall. You must become an expert at setting and maintaining firm boundaries. Learn to say, "I can't talk right now, but I can check in at 3 p.m." Or, "That is an interesting problem, but I need to focus on this deadline." Can we schedule time next week? You are not being selfish. You are being responsible to your own mission. The validation detox. Stop the reflexive habit of posting your progress or seeking likes immediately after an achievement. Do the work for the inherent satisfaction of mastery. Focusing on the external reaction to your work is a distraction from the work itself. Let the results speak for themselves. Level 3. The internal noise, mental. This is the most destructive and hardest to eliminate. Self-doubt, rumination, anxiety about the future, and regret over the past. The practice of mindfulness. Focus is not about having no thoughts. It is about the ability to choose which thoughts you engage with. Mindfulness practice, even 5 minutes a day, trains your mind to observe the internal noise, the anxious thought, the self-criticism, without judging it or following it down a rabbit hole. You simply acknowledge the thought and gently guide your attention back to the task at hand. The brain dump. If an anxious thought about a future task, e.g., "I need to call the accountant tomorrow," pops up while you are working, do not engage with it. Simply capture it immediately on a notepad, the brain dump, assuring yourself you will deal with it later. You have now neutralized the threat and can return to your deep work. Your ability to win is directly proportional to your ability to sustain deep work on your single, unwavering goal. Eliminate the noise, master your attention, and you will unlock productivity levels that feel like a superpower. Part 3, the execution in action, the grind. Chapter 7, the resistance gap, the physics of procrastination. The greatest thief of focus is not the external distraction, the phone, the email, the colleague, but the internal one, resistance. Resistance, and let us capitalize it, for it is a force with a capital F, is the universal psychic current that pushes against any act of creation, growth, or self-improvement. It is the insidious force that makes the most important task of the day feel heavy, while the low-value, urgent task feels light. Resistance manifests as procrastination, self-doubt, perfectionism, and the sudden, overwhelming desire to clean your entire house, when you should be writing the proposal that will change your career. To focus on you until you win, you must first become a professional in the daily, brutal fight against resistance. The physics of starting. Resistance is most powerful at the point of initiation. It exploits the mental gap between thinking about the work and actually doing the work. This is the resistance gap. We often try to overcome this gap by waiting for motivation. This is a catastrophic strategic error. Motivation is an emotion. It is fleeting, unpredictable, and entirely unreliable. Discipline, in contrast, is an action. It is a system. It is automatic. And it shows up every single day, rain or shine. The fundamental law of action is this: action precedes motivation. You do not wait to feel motivated to start. You start to generate motivation. The momentum created by 5 minutes of productive work is more powerful than 2 hours of motivational videos. Tactics for destroying the resistance gap. Lower the standard for starting. Resistance thrives on the pressure of perfection. If you sit down believing you must write the perfect first sentence or code the flawless first function, the pressure becomes overwhelming and you quit before you begin. The solution is to deliberately lower your standard for the first 5 minutes. If you need to write a presentation, the goal is not a persuasive masterpiece. The goal is the shitty first draft. The commitment is to write 50 words of nonsense. You are tricking resistance by agreeing to a task so small it seems pointless to resist. Once the momentum starts, your desire for excellence will take over naturally. The 5-second rule, the window of action. Every time you have an instinct to act on your unwavering goal, to start the workout, to make the difficult call, to open the document, you have a 5-second window before your mind's fear center steps in and kills the idea. The moment the thought occurs, you must count backward. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. At go, you physically move. This simple act short-circuits the internal debate, forcing your prefrontal cortex to override the limbic system's fear response. Schedule the action, not the outcome. Most people schedule outcomes. Finish Chapter 3. This creates pressure. Instead, schedule action blocks, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., deep work on Chapter 3. The goal of the time block is not completion. The goal is to work relentlessly for 120 minutes. If the chapter is not done, you have still won, because you completed the required action. By focusing on effort over output in the short term, you destroy resistance's ability to paralyze you with a fear of non-completion. The winners are not those who feel less resistance. They are those who are better at enduring and overcoming it. You must show up every day and make the commitment to start, even when you hate the process, even when the work feels impossible, because your dedication to your goal must be greater than your desire for comfort. Chapter 8. The Power of the Done First Mentality. Your day is a finite resource. It is a battlefield where your attention is constantly under attack. If you treat your day as a list of things to react to, you will spend your most valuable hours, your highest energy and sharpest focus, answering other people's needs and fulfilling low-leverage tasks. The Done First mentality is the radical commitment to tackle your daily non-negotiable, DNN, before the world gets a vote. This is the only way to guarantee that your highest priority work gets done with your highest quality energy. Eating the biggest frog. Management expert Brian Tracy popularized the concept of eating the frog. Your frog is the single, most important, often most difficult task that must be done to move you toward your unwavering goal. If you have 2 frogs, eat the bigger, uglier one first. The power of this strategy is psychological. Momentum. By completing the hardest task early, you generate an enormous amount of positive momentum and self-trust that carries you through the rest of the day. All subsequent tasks feel easier and less stressful. Focus protection. Until the frog is eaten, that task sits in your mind as an internal distraction, subtly draining your energy. Completing it clears the mental clutter, allowing you to focus fully on lower priority items later. Guaranteed progress. Even if the rest of your day explodes with crisis or distraction, you have already won the day because you executed the task that mattered most to your future success. Your DNN, the 500 words, the 30 calls, the hour of strategic analysis must be scheduled during your peak energy window and must be protected by a firewall of number. The focus block and the firewall of number. The focus block is the time you dedicate to eating your frog, and the firewall of no is the defense mechanism you put in place to protect it. Determine your peak energy. Are you a morning person or a night owl? Identify the 2 to 3 hours when your concentration is sharpest and your creativity is highest. This is where the DNN must be scheduled. For most, This is the first few hours of the workday, the uninterruptible hour. During this focus block, there are no exceptions. No email. Email is a to-do list written by other people. Do not open it until your core work is finished. No meetings. Decline or reschedule any meeting that infringes on this sacred time. Your own progress is the most important meeting you will have all day. No social media/news. These are energy vampires disguised as breaks. The done first commitment. Do not allow yourself to move onto a reactive task, checking messages, dealing with an urgent but low-value request, until the primary, proactive work is done. Not started, not mostly done, done. By prioritizing the profound over the immediate, by consistently tackling the most difficult challenge, when your energy is highest, you are not just managing time. You are investing your life force into the future you are building. The done first mentality is the discipline of putting your own victory ahead of the demands of the world. Chapter 9. Embracing the unsexy. The solitude of high performance. High performance is not glamorous. The highlight reels and the TED Talk moments are the result of years of consistent, unsexy, often boring work performed in solitude. In a world addicted to instant feedback, social visibility, and constant external stimulation, the ability to disappear into the work, to embrace the quiet grind, is your most profound competitive advantage. The myth of inspiration. We are sold the lie that success is the result of sudden, divine inspiration, the light bulb moment. The truth is that inspiration is usually a reward for having already shown up and done the work. Inspiration finds you working, not waiting. The vast majority of meaningful progress comes from deliberate practice, the monotonous, repeatable actions that deepen your skill set and build your capacity, brick by painstaking brick. This work is inherently unsexy. The writer does not write the best-selling chapter. They edit the same paragraph 17 times. The entrepreneur does not make the viral launch. They spend 40 hours building the financial model and writing the operations manual. The athlete does not hit the game-winning shot. They perform the same drill thousands of times in an empty gym. This consistent, unrewarded effort requires solitude. Building the creative moat. Solitude is not loneliness. It is the purposeful removal of external inputs to allow for deep, sustained thinking and creation. It is the environment where you can hear your own ideas over the noise of the crowd. The necessity of saying no. To achieve extraordinary results, you must become comfortable with disappointing a lot of people. You must say no to the low-value social invitation, the non-essential committee meeting, the project that is good but does not serve your unwavering goal, the request for just 5 minutes that turns into an hour. The sacrifice of the short term. The focus on winning requires you to trade the immediate, fleeting pleasure of socializing, resting, or distracting yourself for the long-term, delayed gratification of achievement. This sacrifice is often misunderstood by others, who will see your focus as antisocial or obsessive. Let them. They are living for the weekend. You are building the future. Creating uninterrupted space. You must physically and digitally construct a moat around your core creative time. This could mean working hours before anyone else wakes up, finding an isolated co-working space, or simply enforcing a rule that your door remains closed for specific blocks of time. This space is where the boring work gets done, where the foundation is poured, and where true mastery is forged. The reward for embracing the unsexy solitude is exponential growth. While everyone else is networking, socializing, and seeking the next motivational quick fix, you are quietly executing, mastering your craft, and building an insurmountable lead through simple, consistent, daily repetition. Part 4. The Unseen Work. The Inner Game. Chapter 10. The Identity Shift, Becoming the Winner Before You Win. Focusing on you until you win is not merely a strategy for execution. It is a profound journey of identity transformation. Most people approach their goals from the perspective of get, do, be. If I get the promotion, then I will do the work of a leader, and then I will be successful. This is backward and fails 99% of the time. The external world rarely grants you permission to be great. You must first claim it internally. The focus philosophy operates on the principle of be, do, get. I will be a focused, successful entrepreneur. Then I will do the daily actions of an entrepreneur. Then I will get the business success. The key to sustaining focus and achieving your unwavering goal is not to obsess over the result, but to obsess over the type of person you are becoming in the process. Identity-based habits? Who are you now? If you want to write a book, stop focusing on the words you need to write. Instead, focus on becoming a writer. The question changes from, how can I write 500 words today? To, what would a writer do today? A writer writes 500 words, regardless of how they feel. A writer carries a notebook. A writer reads books in their genre. A writer protects their writing time. By shifting your focus from the output, the words, to the identity, the writer, your actions become a natural expression of who you are rather than a forced obligation. The 3 elements of the winner's identity: belief as a predictor. Your current results are a perfect reflection of your deepest, most enduring beliefs about yourself. If you believe you are bad with money, your actions will consistently sabotage your finances. If you believe you are not a morning person, you will struggle every time the alarm goes off. You must perform an internal audit and aggressively challenge every limiting belief that contradicts your winner's identity. The reframe. When the thought, "I'm not smart enough for this," arises, immediately reframe it. I am a person committed to continuous learning, and I figure out hard things. Reputation with yourself. The most important reputation you own is the one you have with yourself. Every time you break a promise to yourself, skip the workout, delay the deep work, let a small habit slide, you erode that internal trust. Every time you follow through on a daily non-negotiable, you strengthen it. Self-trust is the engine of focus. When you trust yourself to show up, the mental energy wasted on internal debate disappears. Visualization as rehearsal. The winner's identity is solidified through mental rehearsal. Dedicate time each day to vividly visualize yourself, not just achieving the win, but operating as the winner. See yourself executing the difficult actions with competence and ease. Visualize the feeling of completing the 500 words, of closing the big deal, of handling the complexity of the new role. This is not passive daydreaming. It is neurological preparation, training your brain to see the difficult path as familiar and achievable. You do not wait for the win to become the winner. You become the winner now, through your disciplined focus and commitment to a new identity. The success that follows is simply the inevitable, external manifestation of the person you have already become. Chapter 11. The Art of Self-Compassion and the Failure Dividend. To focus relentlessly is to guarantee you will encounter spectacular failure. If you are not failing, you are not playing a big enough game. The person who fears failure is paralyzed. The person who embraces failure as data is unstoppable. Focusing on you until you win requires a radical redefinition of failure and the mastery of self-compassion, not as an indulgence, but as a fuel source for resilience. The failure dividend. A setback is not a loss. It is a payment for a lesson you needed to learn. This payment yields a failure dividend, a concrete, invaluable return on investment that must be analyzed and utilized. Most people waste a failure by engaging in one of two toxic responses: blame, blaming the external world, the market, the luck, or the competitor. This wastes the lesson and reinforces an external locus of control, self-flagellation, attacking themselves with brutal, non-productive criticism, leading to shame and quitting. The focused winner uses the third response, objective analysis, the post-mortem, not the burial. Immediately after a setback, perform an objective analysis. What were the facts? What specific strategic or tactical error did I make? What is the single most important adjustment I need to make before the next attempt? This analysis must be cold, rational, and entirely devoid of emotional judgment. It is data collection, not therapy. The value of the failure dividend is in the data and the resilience it generates. Every successful entrepreneur, artist, or athlete can point to their biggest failures as the turning points that forced them to pivot to the winning strategy. The cost was high, but the dividend was greater. Self-compassion as a performance tool. Self-compassion, the act of treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer a trusted friend facing the same struggle, is the antidote to the paralyzing self-flagellation. It is a performance tool, not a weakness. It shortens recovery time. Shame and self-abuse keep you stuck. When you are kind to yourself, I messed up, but I am still capable of great work, you process the negative emotion faster and return to execution sooner. The goal is to minimize the time to restart. It increases risk tolerance. If you know that failure will result in internal devastation, you will naturally play safe and small. If you know that you will meet a failure with objective analysis and kindness, you are psychologically free to take bigger, bolder risks, the kind of risks necessary for an extraordinary win. It sustains focus. Relentless focus is a marathon, not a sprint. You will have bad days, days when you break the streak, days when you underperform. Self-compassion allows you to acknowledge the slip, forgive the error, and immediately refocus on the next action block, rather than letting one bad day derail a whole month. Focusing on you until you win is about building an anti-fragile self, a self that does not merely withstand stress but actually grows stronger and more capable because of the failures and challenges it encounters. The only way to win is to fail, learn, forgive yourself, and focus on the next step. You must be your own most demanding coach and your own most empathetic ally. Part 5. The Legacy and the Endurance, the Win. Chapter 12. The Calculus of Sacrifice, Paying the Unavoidable Price of Victory. Focusing on you until you win is a transaction, and like all transactions, it requires payment. The currency of victory is sacrifice. Many people want the rewards of focus, the wealth, the health, the fulfillment, but they are unwilling to pay the full, non-negotiable price of admission. They want the high-performance car without putting in the high-octane fuel. This is the great disconnect that keeps most people stuck in a loop of mediocrity. The winners understand a crucial piece of the calculus of sacrifice. You are always sacrificing something. The question is whether you are sacrificing for the life you want or sacrificing for the life you currently have. The two sides of the sacrifice ledger. Sacrifice for the win, proactive sacrifice. This is the conscious, willing surrender of immediate, low-value comfort in exchange for long-term, high-value gain. Example: sacrificing 2 hours of Netflix every night to dedicate to deep work. Example: sacrificing high-calorie, processed food for the discipline of a nutrition plan. Example: sacrificing a year of frequent socializing to build the foundation of a new business. This sacrifice is painful in the short term, but it is a pain of progress. It feels active and purposeful. Sacrifice for the status quo, passive sacrifice. This is the involuntary, slow, creeping surrender of your dreams and potential due to inaction. Example: sacrificing your dream of financial independence because you can't say no to impulse spending. Example: sacrificing your health and energy because you can't say no to comfort food and the couch. Example: sacrificing your potential career advancement because you can't say no to easy distractions. This sacrifice feels comfortable in the short term, but it is a pain of regret. It is the slow, agonizing death of potential. The focused individual chooses the pain of progress every single time. They know that the pain of discipline weighs ounces, while the pain of regret weighs tons. The unpopular truth about your circle: your commitment to radical self-focus will inevitably require a sacrifice in your relationships. Not everyone is meant to come with you on the journey. As you commit to a higher standard of focus and discipline, two things will happen in your social circle: the lifters. A few people will be inspired by your focus, will raise their own standards, and will become powerful allies and accelerants on your journey. Hold these people close. The drainers. Most people will feel challenged or threatened by your new, focused identity. They will try to pull you back into the comfort zone of distraction, average performance, and low expectations. They will say, "Why are you working so hard?" or "You deserve a break." Their resistance is not malicious. It is a fear-based need to keep you small so they don't have to face their own lack of focus. You must be willing to gracefully sever or significantly reduce ties with the drainers. The most important currency you possess is your time and attention. Allowing people who are not focused on their own victory to steal your time is a violation of your commitment to yourself. Protecting your focus means protecting the integrity of your inner circle. This is the ultimate sacrifice, trading the approval of the unfocused for the integrity of your mission. The focused path is often a lonely one, but that solitude is the price of extraordinary success. Chapter 13. The metric that matters. Measuring growth, not achievement. Relentless focus requires sustained energy, but chasing external achievements, the promotion, the sales number, the finished product, can be a source of stress and burnout because these things are never fully within your control. Instead of measuring the win, you must focus on measuring growth. The metric that matters, MTM, is not the outcome you desire, but the internal evolution that is necessary to achieve it. You must shift your focus from "Did I win?" to "Did I grow into the person capable of winning?" The three areas to track for internal growth. Consistency, the effort metric. This is the most important metric. Did you execute your daily non-negotiables, DNN? This measures your discipline, which is entirely within your control. Track days completed / total days. E.g., I executed my writing block 28 out of 30 days. Focus on the streak. The longer the chain of consistency, the stronger your self-trust, and the more automated your focus becomes. Competence, the skill metric. This measures your specific improvement in your core skill set. This must be objectively reviewed. Example: for a speaker, how many minutes of filler words per hour did I eliminate? Example: for a salesperson, what is the average time it took to close a lead this month compared to last month? Focus on the 1% improvement. If you get 1% better every day, you are 37 times better by the end of the year. The focus is on the compound effect of skill accretion, not the sudden leap. Resilience, the recovery metric. This measures your ability to handle adversity and quickly return to focus. This is a crucial metric for long-term endurance. Track time to restart after a setback. How long did I spend paralyzed by self-pity or distraction after the failure? Track the size of the risk you are willing to take. Did I try the harder, more complex strategy this time? Focus on the pivot. A higher resilience score means you are spending less time reacting to the past and more time proactively shaping the future. When you focus on MTM, consistency, competence, and resilience, you maintain a powerful internal locus of control. You always have something to celebrate, even when the external outcome is disappointing. The book did not sell well, but I grew my consistency score to 95%. I mastered a new editing software, and my time to restart after the rejection was under 24 hours. That is the real win. The external success will inevitably follow the internal growth. Chapter 14. The Infinite Game. The Endurance of the Focused Winner. The final act of focusing on you until you win is understanding that the game is infinite. The moment you achieve your unwavering goal, when the book is published, the business hits the revenue target, or the marathon is run, you do not stop. Stopping is the death of focus. The greatest danger to the focused winner is not failure, but the completion of a goal. Achievement creates a vacuum. If you do not immediately fill that vacuum with a new, bigger, more audacious, unwavering goal, your hard-won focus and discipline will immediately decay. The habits you built to win will quickly atrophy. The winners of the world operate under the principle of the infinite game. They play to continue playing, not to finish. The cycle of relentless expansion. The celebration, brief. Acknowledge the victory. Allow yourself a defined, short period to celebrate the achievement and the growth it required. No longer than 24 to 48 hours. The dissection, objective. Immediately conduct a cold, objective analysis of the entire journey. What were the 5 most successful strategies? What were the 5 biggest mistakes? Document the process of the win for future replication. The reset, non-negotiable. Reset your habits. Do not abandon the daily non-negotiables, DNNs. Instead, upgrade them. If you were writing 500 words, now you write 750. If you were working 8 hours, now you dedicate 9 hours to the new, bigger mission. The foundational habits are non-negotiable and must be protected as your core identity. The new UG, Unwavering Goal. Define the next goal. This goal must be bigger than the last one, forcing you to step into a larger identity and acquire new skills. If the first UG was publish 1 novel, the new UG is become a full-time author by publishing 3 novels and generating $100,000 in royalties. This instant, relentless expansion is the mechanism that protects your focus and ensures your enduring success. The true meaning of until you win. Focus on you until you win does not mean stopping when you reach the first finish line. It means focusing on the development of the self until the act of winning becomes a natural, repeatable state of being. The true win is not the external award. It is the unbreakable, focused person you have become in the pursuit of the goal. That person, forged in the crucible of discipline, is the only one who can sustain the success and keep expanding into ever larger territory. Your journey is not a straight line. It is a relentless, upward spiral of growth, failure, learning, and focused re-engagement. You have now made the decision. You have built the foundation. You have implemented the daily systems. You have paid the unavoidable price. Now you must simply endure. The only way to lose this game is to quit focusing on the only person who can guarantee your victory. Focus on yourself. Start now. And do not stop until you realize the full, terrifying, beautiful scope of what you are capable of becoming.